Citizens of America, at this hour I come to you not in anger but in great concern for our nation's soul. Some of you feel newly afraid. You see unrest on the news. You hear of attacks on your leaders. You sense our bonds fraying. Picture a quiet school gym in Minneapolis, chairs set in a large circle, people of all faiths and accents coming together. And then the fear, the shock, the confusion that follows when violence breaks this peace. You may ask yourself, is this now the norm in America? Must we begin to hide from those who think different or serve in office? Is our union so divided that words give way to blows? Not all news is black and white. History has seen this before. Let me speak plainly. Violence is not the cure for political anger. It is the ruin of all that free men and women have built. Last Tuesday, your elected representative, Ilhan Omar, stood before her neighbors. There was disagreement, as there should be in a republic. Then one struck out, spraying her with a substance whose very nature remains unclear. Let me be clear. As your forefather and servant of this republic, this is not just an attack on one woman. It is an affront to the whole House of Representatives. It is a shadow cast upon every town hall, every open meeting, every place where people and leaders gather in trust. Omar was not seriously harmed thanks to Providence. Law enforcement is searching for who did this and what was in the spray. Americans of both parties stood up at once, Democrats and Republicans together, to say that violence is never the answer. Still, you may fear it is not enough. Imagine a family in their living room, the father reading news on a glowing tablet as his children listen, quiet and worried. Their mother asks, "Are we safe? Do they hate us for who we send to serve?" That is a question no child in America should have to ask. Nor is this about one side alone. Not many days ago, another representative, Maxwell Frost, was attacked, punched at a public gathering far from his home. He too was targeted while serving the very people who gave him his seat. Do not let anyone tell you that such violence is normal or the price of freedom. Our republic was founded not by mobs, but by reason, by disagreement done in peace, and by laws respected by all. Yet I must also warn you, where division grows, where rumor and anger are left unchecked, the storm of violence finds roots. Leaders, citizens, all those who shape public voice must act with restraint and care. Picture a line of police officers outside a Minneapolis community hall, the air cold and tense as neighbors gather close in small knots, trading whispers and anxious glances. It is not enough for leaders to speak words of comfort only after harm is done. The true test comes before, in how we use our words, in how we talk about others who disagree with us, in the examples we set. This week, voices both in government and out responded. Some offered condolences and unity, but some, among them a former president, chose to cast doubt, to say without proof that perhaps this harm was faked. Know this. To accuse, to plant such suspicion, is itself a wound upon the body of the Republic. False claims do not heal, they inflame. Think of a newsroom in the evening, TV screens flickering as headlines pass, violence at town hall, leaders condemn attack, suspect sought. Every headline carries weight, every word shapes belief. Those who hold power, and those who lead with their words, are called to a higher standard. When pain is mocked, when suffering is dismissed, the harm strikes not just a lone victim, but all who hold faith in public trust. Let us remember, America's strength is her unity. I have seen division in my time. Cities and towns racked by fear, partisans shouting from opposite hills, neighbors unsure of one another's hearts. But I have also seen what comes when people pause, when they practice forbearance, when they choose to come together instead of apart. Picture a row of small houses along a snowy street in Minnesota, porch lights glowing, flags gently lifting in the cold breeze. Inside, families share worries, but also hopes for calmer days. What is at stake here is not just the safety of one leader or another. It is whether we will keep faith with the idea that America belongs to all of us, no matter where you were born, what faith you hold, or how you vote. To harm a representative because of who they are or what they say is to break faith with every lesson of our founding. Yet even now, there is a path forward. Imagine a small-town diner as dawn rises. Old friends sit across from each other in worn booths. One wears a union badge, another a veteran's cap. They talk, slow, careful, about what kind of country they wish to see. They do not always agree, but they listen. And in that listening, the Republic is made strong. I say to you, the laws of our land and the safety of those who serve must be honored not just by police, but by the will of the entire people. The investigation into this week's attack continues. Science will tell us what the substance was. Police will uncover the plot. But the healing of division, that is a task for each citizen. We must ask ourselves, what habits are we building in our hearts, at our kitchen tables, in the words we send and share each day? Think on a school hallway filled with children's voices, lockers slamming shut, a teacher standing in the doorway with hope in her face. She trusts that grown people in Washington and in her own town will model the patience she asks of her students. Let us choose better. Let us speak no lies about those who serve, nor spread suspicion where none is proven. Justice demands patience, truth demands courage, and the Union demands each of us practice both. If you wonder what can save the Republic, remember, not all news is black and white. There can be anger in the land, and still hope and duty remain. Every family that stays watchful for the facts, every friend who chooses to listen instead of lashing out, every leader who calms nerves instead of inciting fear, gives one more steady stone to the bridge of unity. Picture a gathering at a city park, picnic tables painted with years of children's names and wishes. Neighbors come not to argue, but to cook together, laugh together, remember why they chose to live side by side. The division does not disappear, but respect and care return. Too often we look to government for what must be done in the home and on the street. America's greatness was never just in her laws, but in her people's gifts, mercy, grit, and reason. These begin with small choices, parents teaching fairness at the table, workers shaking hands with those they once called rivals, strangers holding open doors. If in this moment you feel afraid, you are not alone. But take heart, fear has met resolve in this country before. Every generation faces its test, a time when fear runs high and doubt creeps in. Yet each generation before us has found a way to rise above, to turn away from rage and mistrust, and to reach instead for those things that last. Fairness, respect, and the steady faith that America belongs to us all. Picture a veteran stepping out onto his porch before dawn, watching the flag lift in the first light. He remembers serving next to neighbors who thought different, prayed different, sometimes argued into the night, but who, on the hardest days, shared one uniform, one fight, one hope for the land they called home. This is our duty now, to serve not as enemies of one another, but as stewards of the public trust. That trust is built one quiet moment at a time. Listening at a council meeting, shaking a neighbor's hand at the post office, writing a letter not in anger, but in honest concern. These simple acts are the seeds of unity. Some will still ask, is it enough? Is anything enough when violence threatens and words so quickly turn sharp? History has seen this before. There have always been those who doubted, who feared the fabric would not hold. Yet here we stand, calling on the better angels of our nature once more. Imagine the hush inside a courtroom, a judge's gavel resting on polished wood, sunlight shining through high windows. Justice is slow, but it arrives. Not by shouts, but by patience. Not by partisanship, but by the humble weight of all citizens watching, waiting, and insisting on truth. America's strength is her unity. when we hold together, when we remember that an attack on one, done for politics or hate, threatens all, then no single act can break us down. Look across this country, from farm to city, factory floor to chapel steps. In each place, men and women wake and work and worry and plan, not just for today, but for the future. Tired sometimes, angry sometimes, but mostly hopeful that the country can heal. Now is our turn to be the hopeful ones. Picture a high school auditorium after choir practice, young people gathering their coats, parents waiting by the doors, soft laughter echoing. They do not think of violence. They trust that tomorrow their leaders will be safe and that their voices matter, whether spoken in song or at the ballot box. What do I ask of you, citizen? Only this: be steady, hold back from quick anger. When you hear rumors, wait for the truth. When tempted to turn against a neighbor, stop and listen. Each time you do, you protect not just one leader, but the entire republic. Let us be clear-eyed. The struggle to stay united will not end today. New trials will come. Others will try to pull us apart. But our history, our hope, and our very peace depend on whether we let them succeed. So tonight, as you look around your table or settle onto your porch, ask yourself, what kind of America do I want to pass on to those not yet born? Is it a land where we fight for the last word, or one where we stand together when danger calls? The Republic can be saved. The work of keeping it is not just for leaders, but for all of us. One quiet act, one honest word, one day at a time. Now, I leave you with this. Will you help heal the Republic with the choices you make, the words you speak, and the patience you show, even when fear and anger try to claim your heart? The answer, and America's future, rests in your hands.